President Trump has said the American dream is back in a major speech to mark the 250th anniversary of US independence. Mr. Trump also warned Americans about the threat from communism and vowed to continue protecting Americans' right to bear arms. His speech was followed by a large fireworks display, which lit up the sky over the national capital. The 40-minute fireworks show aims to break a Guinness World Record for the largest display in history. But it's been competing with the weather. Earlier, thousands of people were forced to leave due to an approaching thunderstorm. And there were chaotic scenes as security forces attempted to regain control on the National Mall in Washington, after some people attending the event refused to leave following an evacuation order. But despite the extreme weather in the US, the last few days has seen parades, concerts and lots of red, white and blue as the country celebrates its birthday. It was billed as a moment of unity, but it does come at a time of deep division in the country, with critics accusing President Trump of politicising the celebrations. President Trump has said the American dream is back during a speech in Washington to mark the 250th anniversary of US independence. The event was heavily delayed due to rising temperatures as well as thunderstorms. Our North America correspondent Howell Griffith has more.
On a landmark birthday, a monumental celebration, all choreographed to show the strength of a nation by land, by sea and by air. Except a heat wave across multiple states made heavy weather of the birthday plans. In Washington, they sweltered under the sun to get in.
All guests must seek shelter
Before being evacuated in fear of a storm. Even so, it didn't dampen the mood.
I'm burning up right now, but, you know, we're dealing with it. We're all struggling, but anyway.
Hotter than heck. Just drinking lots of water, lots of tank tops or vests, as you guys say. Trying to stay as cool as I can be.
It is incredible. I mean, there's nothing like being American. I love our country. It's the greatest country in the world, and so it's just an honor and incredible to be here. And seeing all the other patriotic people coming out here it's a real blessing.
The original plans for this big 250th party were largely sidelined by the Trump White House. Its Freedom 250 celebrations are a lot more focused on the president and his view of American supremacy by economic force and military might. When, later than billed, the president eventually took to the stage, these were themes he leant into, while stressing his own place in history.
We rebuilt our military in my first term. We used it a little bit in our, actually I should say third term, but I won't do that because I don't want any controversy. But we use it and we've had tremendous success. You look at Venezuela, you look at Iran, we wiped out their military.
To follow a president who wants everything to be big and beautiful, something spectacular in scale. A fireworks show billed as the largest ever on the planet, celebrating a nation that projects itself as the world's dominant force. Howell Griffith, BBC News, Washington.
Our correspondent Rich Preston was at the National Mall in Washington following events.
The message throughout was this is delayed, not cancelled. So what you ended up having then was lots of people milling around on the streets and the buildings around the National Mall just waiting because they wanted to come back in. Now many people did obviously leave, but that 155,000, according to Mr. Trump, remained in place. Eventually the message came that the gates were going to be opened at 9:45 Eastern Time. That prompted a rush for the security checkpoints. You then, of course, had the big problem of scanning people back in. This is a secure area we're in now. Everyone had to go through metal detectors again, bag searches, just to get back into the venue. President Trump then eventually took to the stage at 11 p.m. and spoke for around 30 minutes or so. There was a mix of history, there was a mix of patriotism, and there was, of course, also, because it's President Trump, the politics in there, the political messaging.
And that report was from Rich Preston. While people have travelled far and wide to gather at the National Mall for these celebrations in the capital, this is what some of them had to say a little earlier.
So I'm thrilled. It's our 250th Independence Day. I can't think of a better place to spend it than DC. Being able to, see all of the different monuments to the different accomplishments throughout our 250 years of history.
Feeling great. I mean, I think the event and what it means to our country, it inspires you. This is experiencing a little heat's a lot less than what a lot of people sacrifice to give us this freedom in this awesome country.
So even though it's been hot and they've canceled the parade and stuff like that, the excitement of being able to be in the presence of the President of the United States and hear him give celebration to our nation is just, it's very moving and it's powerful. I get chills even thinking about it.
And President Trump was not the only person speaking about America. His Vice President, J.D. Vance, used the occasion to lambast people who focus on the country's imperfections rather than its achievements. Take a listen.
All of us are celebrating, but you will hear a couple small but loud voices today speak obsessively not of our national greatness, but of our national imperfections. They will speak of the powerless and the dispossessed. They will tell you that America is just another country where the weak struggle against the strong. And if they acknowledge that there is anything to be proud of in our history, they'll say it's the fact that sometimes the powerless have won a zero-sum battle.
J.D. Vance there. While Scott Farris is a presidential historian, I asked him whether the disruptions that occurred ahead of Donald Trump's speech and the fireworks display overshadowed the event.
I don't think it overshadowed it. I mean, it's obviously going to be one of the big stories that it was delayed by the severe weather. And in fact, the eastern part of the United States has been under hot weather, and the western United States has been in a very much dry spell, which has made fireworks very dangerous. But I think that it occurred pretty much as people would have expected. The president gave a speech that's pretty typical for him. It's a little different than what past presidents have done. But he always tends to inject some more politics into these speeches, whereas past presidents generally try to use these speeches in terms of unifying Americans, getting them to engage in some introspection, and to recommit themselves to the ideals of the founding of our country.
And as you say there, a different approach to what some may have seen previously and what presidents have said about this kind of event. Do you feel then that this united the mood in America or potentially fractured it even more?
Well, I think first the most important point to make is that what happens in Washington is only a very small part of our whole celebration of the 4th of July. In large cities and small towns across our country, people had parades, they had fireworks, cookouts, ball games and rodeos, whatever is the tradition in their local location. So this is only a small slice of the 4th. So I don't know that it's going to dramatically impact how Americans feel about the 4th of July. I do think, again, that it was unfortunate he decided to bring in some partisan politics into it. Again, that's something past presidents did not do. But I don't know that it exacerbated divisions any more than they already exist.
And how do you feel that America's 250 legacy lives on once we get to the end of the year? What do you think may change in the future?
Well, our next big milestone will be 50 years from now, so who can say exactly what we'll be doing then? But I think that one of the things that happened, I imagine they're going to try to avoid in the future, is that there was the commemoration organization, America 250, that was established by Congress. And then President Trump decided to form a competing organization called Freedom 250, which confused the issue of what events were very much bipartisan and which ones were more Trump-oriented. So I think there'll be some steps made to avoid that in the future. There's probably not the sense of joy that we had in our bicentennial in 1976. I think that was a point where Gerald Ford worked very hard to try to have a unifying message in the wake of Vietnam and Watergate. So I think future presidents will probably try to go back to that. And this will be sort of a unique chapter in American history.